Hey, what's up, people? Welcome back to Almighty Blues FC, a fan channel for all to see. I hope you all like the recent series. Yes, we had the international break, and finally it's done and dusted because we have the Premier League back and hopefully back with a bang. Before that, I hope you checked out the recent series. Yes, it was a Who Am I series. We had a couple of episodes and great episodes at that. Great trivia, a lot of Chelsea history and general footballing knowledge. You have to check it out if you haven't. The links are below. The Who Am I series, great series. I must strongly recommend it. I'm sure a lot of you will be recommending as well once you watch it. So do share because it is a new series after all, and a lot of other clips that we had also put up. So hopefully you like them as well. If you do, smash this like button as well and subscribe and like again because we need a lot of watchers. The more watchers we have, the more discussions we'll have and more feedback we'll get. We will be improving content week by week, and that is what we want. But also share this link and stream because we want your love and we couldn't have grown this much and beyond that we seek to without your love as well. So yes, hit that bell notification icon. You will get to know whenever there is a video coming, and do watch whenever you get a time. Having said that, let's jump into it. So it is Brentford versus Chelsea. Of course, it's Almighty Blues FC, and I thought this is a comeback week for the Premier League, and we should do an exclusive preview for the Chelsea game. Yes, it is number 7 in the Premier League. That's Brentford. Yes, you heard it right. Versus Chelsea, top of the table, of course, at Brentford's Community Stadium. Yes, Brentford Community Stadium is a new stadium for Chelsea, but of course they have their own history and we'll get into it for sure. Having said that, Brentford are after all our West London rivals, so there is some kind of a derby that you can call for sure. Talking about derbies, let's go through some facts. Yes, Brentford, they are the first side in Premier League history to remain unbeaten in the first 3 London derbies. Yes, that's never been done, so that's great history for them. And of course, they beat Arsenal, great team in terms of history, West Ham United, the last game that you saw just before the international break, and they drew with Palace. So they've remained unbeaten, but Chelsea, on the other hand, have beaten 6 away London clubs. That is 6 London clubs in derbies away, not at Stamford Bridge, but at their homes. And this is going to be a record again because if we win a 7th consecutive time in an away London derby, this will be the first time ever in English football history. That is the first 4 top flights. Great, right? And that is something that we need to go for, but more importantly, the 3 points to stay on top. Having said that, Brentford, that is the Bees, have a 78% win rate versus league leaders in that history. That is something. Now, that can be a jinx for Chelsea, so let's see what happens. But anyway, it is, after all, the best of any club, again, in English football history, I believe. They have won 7 out of the 9 games they had played against league leaders. Not the right time in terms of the record, but again, records are meant to be broken, right? And in terms of Chelsea, well, another record is we have 12 different scorers, and that is the highest for any Premier League side this particular season. And we can break, I think, Arsenal's record or equal their record. Comment below if you know the facts. Arsenal, I think, had 13 different scorers in the first 7 Premier League games. I think for the first 7 Premier League games, that is a record. But any guesses which year that was, Arsenal? Or any fans, so to speak? Comment below. For me, definitely, I can see that happening. And, well, we have a lot of goal scorers, and that's only a good thing, right? And in terms of the referee, let's take a moment. It is Anthony Taylor. We covered, I think, Anthony Taylor after that Liverpool game. Remember, again, it's all there below in the link. The review was covered. Reece James red card, but not only that. Anthony Taylor, remember, I think he was the referee, if I remember right, against Tottenham, yes, Spurs, when I think the Spurs goalkeeper got a karate kung fu kick on Alonso, and that wasn't given as a red card and penalty, but eventually was. And of course, Arsenal, FA Cup final, Kovacic red card. it wasn't a red card for sure. And the Harry Maguire episodes, I think both the Batshuayi and the Azpilicueta ones, which probably should have been a sending off and a penalty respectively. But again, comment below if I'm incorrect. I remember Anthony Taylor being the referee on most of these occasions. So all the big games, again, it's a comeback game after international break. In the international break also, I think it was him, giving that non-offside goal or offside. I know debatable, but at the end of the day, it was definitely not clear cut. That was, I think, if I'm not wrong, the final game that happened in the Nations League. But having said that, we have to move on and hopefully we'll score enough goals to beat Brentford. In terms of head-to-head record, we haven't played Brentford in the Premier League whatsoever. And yes, in history we have played them a few times. Of course, yesteryears is not something that we would consider. We have won them as expected over yesteryears. But more importantly, in the recent years, in the last 7 to 8 years, we have played them thrice. Yes, we have played them thrice. All 3 times in the FA Cup 4th round, interestingly. 2013 was the one which I remember very clearly till date, because it was Fernando Torres and Oscar scoring. It was at Brentford's ground. It was a 2-2 draw. Yes, we played the replay again, and the replay we beat them at Stamford Bridge 4-0 with a lot of scorers again. And 2017, more recently, when we played them in the FA Cup again, and this was again a 4-0 victory in the 4th round. Interestingly though, if you remember, do you know who played in that game? Comment below. Anyone from the recent squad, did they play in that game? Yes. The answer is Cesar Azpilicueta, who also was a substitute in the earlier 2 games in 2013, but in 2017 he started. And Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Yes, Ruben Loftus-Cheek started in 2017 against Brentford. More importantly, it was also a Chalobah playing. Yes, not Trevor Chalobah, but Nathaniel Chalobah played that game. So yes, some interesting things there. Hopefully, we will pick the right thing from those games where we got victories more recently, and that's more important, right? We haven't really let them beat us. But in terms of the form, well, Brentford definitely are in very good form. Especially that last minute winner that they got against West Ham United will really, put them in upbeat mood. I know there was an international break, but I think for sides like Brentford, they just wait for the next game and cannot wait to pounce on Chelsea. I'm pretty sure on that, right? And of course, that win against West Ham was followed up, I think, after a draw against Liverpool, the 3-3 draw. We can't forget that. And overall, I think the last 7 games in the Premier League, they've had 3 wins, 3 draws, and just 1 loss. Yes, just 1 loss, and that was to Brighton. Yes, Brighton, who are just above them in the table, 6th. So that's interesting. So they are not an easy side, as no secrets there. In terms of Chelsea, well, we've had a win as well recently, of course, against Southampton. That great comeback win after that equalizer from Southampton. But at the end of the day, we did lose 2 games just before that. So I would not say great form, but overall, of course, we have won 5 in the Premier League and 1 draw and 1 loss. So obviously we have a great form. But in terms of goal scorers, like I said, Chelsea have a lot of goal scorers and goals also. Yes. Surprisingly, we have scored 15 goals already in 7 games, and Brentford, on the other hand, have scored 10. So they are not, someone who just started off. They know how to score, but not only that, they have a good defense, a resolute defense, which has just given away 6 goals in 7 games, and these 6 goals included those 3 goals against Liverpool in 1 game. So imagine, in 6 games, they have just let in 3 goals. We have to basically penetrate them, and that is what we would go for in the team structure as well. Well, they go with the 3-5-2. Traditionally, I know they are, definitely missing their midfielder Baptist. I think Baptist is having a shoulder dislocation. I think at halftime he was kind of substituted in the last game, so I don't see him returning. But I think they could still make do with that, because Baptist earlier was sent off for a red card against Wolves. So they coped with that, in the Liverpool game. So they can cope. But up front, they have 2 as in big forwards. Of course, Ivan Toney, how do you pronounce that? Please comment. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. I've seen heard both the pronunciations. But for me, Toney is the person who's been, as in red hot, in terms of the form, both in terms of championship when they came up as well as now. And of course, Mbuemo is their other centre forward, so they play with two up front, and that is where Chelsea have an issue. Yes, we are recording this after the press conference of Thomas Tuchel, because we didn't want to give you incomplete information. So I hope you like that fact and smash that like button and share this link and come back before we watch again. Yes, we are missing Antonio Rudiger. International break, that's the effect, right? We always get a couple of injuries. Antonio Rudiger is missing, and Thomas Tuchel was clearly not happy in the press conference. That irritation, frustration was clear to see. Although he, did mention it a couple of times, it's just his body language which is coming across wrong. But that is a reason why it's coming across like that, because he was not happy not only with Antonio Rudiger not being available, but Thiago Silva, who was still not back. As we, record this, maybe he's just back to Cobham, but for me, Thiago Silva not being back is a slight concern, with Antonio Rudiger also being out. Now, obviously, traveling from Brazil, even if he kind of comes, in the next hour or so as we record, I don't see Thiago Silva starting, and that's what Thomas Tuchel mentioned as well clearly. So at the back, I can see a shuffle, yes. Christensen, one person that Thomas Tuchel has previously gone on record saying that he can play left centre back, will be a good shout. Let him start. Yes, it is Brentford, not an easy side, 6th in the Premier League right now. But if not against Brentford, when will we try? And we need a good backup. I know Malang Sarr is a backup, but really, for Premier League, I wouldn't consider him as a first backup. Unfortunate for Sarr, but that's just me. Then comment below what you would do. I would play Christensen left centre back. At centre, I would definitely go with Chalobah. He's done that well, and of course, he'll be confident after a goal against Southampton. Right centre back has to be Azpilicueta. Great, the international break he had versus Spain. I know Alonso also had a great international break, not a break per se, but the match in the Nations League. But Chilwell has been better. Of course, he scored a goal as well internationally, and in that Southampton game, great goal at that. Right now is the time when we make that transition again. So Chilwell at left wing back, at right wing back, because of Reece James also not being 100%. I know he was back to training. I can see Callum Hudson-Odoi playing, especially because Brentford are a possible low block team also. So we need to open them up, and Hudson-Odoi, just have a smile on your face and play. Come on, you can do it at right wing back. I know the majority of Chelsea fans will disagree with me, but for me, yes, he did great against Southampton in that first half, but then he tapered off in the second half before getting subbed. For me, right wing back is the place where he needs to get out of his mind and tell that it's not a wing back position, it's the right winger position. Just play like that. Azpilicueta can do the job in terms of defense. So please, let's play Hudson-Odoi. If Reece James is fit, well, get him in. But I would still say he would not be 100% match fit. Bring him on. Bring him on in the last half an hour. Again, bring on Kante in the last half an hour. Just back from COVID, won't be easy. So can't play 90 minutes. Definitely get him on after 30 minutes. Plus, Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Kovacic in the middle have been great last couple of games, and I would continue that. Loftus-Cheek especially has to start. Kovacic I know has been playing a lot of games, but for sure that partnership works, at least against Brentford. And up top, I would continue with Timo Werner on the right. Not a natural position, but worked against Southampton. He is confident. Scored a couple of goals in international break. Yes, great goals at that, in fact. And on the left-hand side, I would get in Mason Mount back in the starting 11. Had an impact against Southampton. Didn't have a great game for England in midweek, but still, Mason Mount is a talisman. And Lukaku. Yes, Lukaku is fit as per Thomas Tuchel's press conference. Touchwood that, muscle fatigue is not really showing off too much. But, he has to be 100%. And he will be back against Brentford with a bang, in my opinion. Having said that, Pulisic is not fit. Yes, Thomas Tuchel confirmed that. And Hakim Ziyech. Again, people, I don't know. What do you think about Hakim Ziyech? I know Thomas Tuchel went in the presser saying that Hakim Ziyech missed a couple of training sessions due to a headache. Do you buy that? There is something more to it. For me, I hope Thomas Tuchel is just, saying it as is. But for me, definitely there's more to this. But Hakim Ziyech, I would like to basically play some part, at least of the bench. That left foot up, ball springing is something that we need, something different. And Kai Havertz also maybe to come on late because he's not looking 100%. despite scoring for Germany. That's just me. Again, comment your playing 11s below. What do you think? And of course, any major changes apart from this that you expect. Saul, I don't see him getting any minutes. Probably against Malmo. Yes, we have a midweek game against Malmo that we will be covering the preview, so stay tuned. I think we'll be live on Monday. Yes, Monday night Indian Standard Time and Monday evening UK time we will be live for a big stream for the Champions League preview, not just Chelsea but all the clubs, so definitely join us. But Saul can get some minutes there, same as Kante, same as James for me. I know it's not an easy game, again important fixture, but again we'll cover that in detail. For me, this is what the starting 11 is. In terms of predictions, well, let's go to the predictions. I can see us conceding because it's after the international break. We don't have a couple of main defenders as we just mentioned, so I can see us conceding, but like Southampton, we'll come back with a bang and score 3. So I am going with 1 Brentford, 3 Chelsea. What about you? Do comment and let me know. We will definitely track these predictions later on in the season. And of course, just not Chelsea games. There are other games in this big game week 8. And of course, let's start with the early kickoff. Watford, Liverpool. For me, Liverpool will just be too strong. Again, interestingly, I'm going for a 1-3 to Liverpool. And Aston Villa, Wolves. Well, Aston Villa have been definitely good and kind of bad as well. They are still kind of figuring out how to play with that team together. So, fair enough. But again, Wolves are coming back into form. Jimenez getting confidence after the goal he scored. So I can see a 1-1 draw. In terms of Leicester and Manchester United, yes, this on paper is a big game. But Leicester have really not impressed. Especially after that Newcastle takeover, a lot of Leicester players, Vardy and the likes, and of course Rodgers being linked to Newcastle will not help. I know they've gone on record saying that they're not going anywhere, but Leicester things are not looking good, so you never know in football, right? So all these things will affect. Apart from that, Man United would want to come back with a bang after the last draw that they had. So I can see a Man United away win, and they've been terrific away as well. So Leicester 0, yes 0, and Man United 2 is what I'm going with. Let me know your predictions on this as well. Man City Burnley, this one is the most easy to call. I think Man City will minimum score 3, but I'm just going for 3 because I think they're probably missing Ferran Torres, and probably after international break not everyone will be 100% clicking, so 3-0 is what I'm going with. Yes, Burnley not to score, and Everton West Ham is the Sunday game, going to the Sunday games. Now, Everton-West Ham is a very interesting one. West Ham, yes, they lost that recent game, a last-ditch kind of, winner that we just spoke about, against Brentford, where West Ham lost. But Everton also have not been really convincing defensively. I know that they did well against Man United, so I can go for a high-scoring draw in this one. It's a 2-2 for me. What about you? And Newcastle, Tottenham. Newcastle, well, so-called, coming up with a top 4 kind of challenge? Definitely not. But they are definitely going to be on a high, their crowd for sure. Of course, the Saudi owners, I don't know if they'll be there, but I can see Newcastle scoring. But Spurs will come back and kind of show their quality, because Newcastle still has Steve Bruce. Remember, he'll be under pressure and that'll be felt. So 1 Newcastle, 2 Tottenham is what I'm going with. And of course, the last game on Monday night is Arsenal Crystal Palace. It's the Vieira derby, as to speak. Vieira will be found out, in my opinion. Arteta, yes, manager of the month and all that. I don't know how, but anyway, going with Arsenal to win, a close win at that. Maybe Arsenal go on a mini run. That's what I'm calling. Almighty Blues FC believes that Arsenal cannot be ignored, but again, not for top 4, but yes, 1-0 is what they'll win against Crystal Palace. So yes, get going with your predictions, and of course the starting lineup for Chelsea. And what do you think, about Chelsea's season? Where are we placed in terms of international fixtures? I know there's one coming up in November. Do comment. What do you feel about them? Is rotation a blessing in disguise? I would really like to hear from you. And yes, Almighty Blues FC requests you again to smash that like button, as well as subscribe if you haven't. Share this link, and the more subscribers and the more watchers we get, the more content you will see. Feedback is always welcome. And press that bell notification icon. We will come back soon. Yes, Monday we are live, but before that we will be doing a quick review as well. So till then, take care and up the Chels. Come on, Chelsea.